Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and we are heading into week 9, the midway point of this 18-week season. Teams are starting to show their true colors, and they've probably already shown them. We know who they really are at this point in time of the season. So at this point, it is time to give my grade on each team following this past week 8 and heading into week 9. But before I go into that, make sure you guys leave this video a like. As always, it continues to help this channel to grow. And if you are one of the people that are not subbed, go ahead and click that sub button and notification bell so you would not miss any of the videos that I post. But let's just get into these power rankings. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, so we're going with the Arizona Cardinals. They are coming off of a loss against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to put the Cardinals at a C, even though DeAndre Hopkins has come back and played well. Kyler Murray has just been continually inconsistent. This team has been continually inconsistent. Like I said, it's always one week they look good against New Orleans. They look bad this week, just Minnesota. So I'm going to put them at a C. Next, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this might be blasphemous for me to do, but I'm going to put the Atlanta Falcons at a B. This team is overachieving. This is an overachieving football team. Coming into this year, we thought they would be one of the worst teams in football, but they are overachieving at this point. Next is the Baltimore Ravens, coming off of a big win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to put them at an A, and they just got help and improvement with the trading of Roquan Smith. I did a video about that. You guys can go check that out. They just got better defensively by getting a guy, an all-pro linebacker like Roquan Smith to add to that running game. It's just going to be a better Baltimore Ravens football team. They have to close out games, though. It's going to be a better football team. Next is the Buffalo Bills, coming off of a win against the Green Bay Packers. I personally still believe, along with the Eagles, they're the two best teams in football. And speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to put them at the S as well. These two, I believe, are the two best teams in football. Could they possibly meet in the Super Bowl? Philly coming off of a dominant win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't been the same defensively, they still have the names, they still have some playmakers, and they made that Pittsburgh Steelers defense look foolish, just like Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills offense made a Green Bay Packers defense look foolish. Two best teams in football right there. Bills, Eagles, by far. Next is going to be the Carolina Panthers. They did look competitive for a lot of that game against Atlanta. I'm going to doctor to a D. This team still has a lot of questions. Team still hasn't lived up to expectations at all, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Now that they traded Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey, even though Foreman has looked good in his role, it's just this Panthers team is not good. Next, my Chicago Bears, C. Can I even go about how bad that defense was against Dallas? That defense was absolutely horrendous against Dallas. Passing or running. They did better in the pass, but their run defense was bad. But the thing is, Justin Fields is improving week by week. It's improving week by week. They did trade Roquan, which hurts them defensively, but already a bad defense, especially in the run. Bears, C. Next, the Bengals, C. They look bad. That offensive line still looks terrible. Joe Burrow is going to get killed behind that offensive line. That offensive line is terrible defensively. They had some moments, but that offensive line has been terrible. They haven't been able to get the running game going all season long. And I thought this Bengals team was going to be better than what it's been, and they just haven't been. Next is the Cleveland Browns. Going to put them at a B. Speaking of last night, they looked good against the Bengals team that they shouldn't have dominated like they did, but this Browns team looked good last night. I'm going to put them at a B. Next is the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to leave them at an A. I'm going to put the Cowboys at an A. That running game is still potent even without Ezekiel Elliott. Dak Prescott made plays. That defense is creating turnovers. Let's just say it. The Dallas Cowboys, as much as people hate the Cowboys, they're one of the better teams in football. Let's just be honest. Next is the Denver Broncos, coming off of a very much needed win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to put them at a C. It's still a little bit to be desired with this Broncos team. It's interesting to see if they're going to trade Bradley Chubb at a deadline. At this point in me recording this video, he's still a Bronco, but we're going to see how this team is going to move forward, especially if the trade rumors are going to be true and they're going to trade some of their players. So I'm going to put them in a C. Next, the Lions, they've come back to earth. I do like the culture that Dan Campbell is setting. It's just on the defensive side of the ball, they just don't have it. Offensively, Jared Goff is coming back to earth. This Lions team, I do like the direction they're going. I do like some of the things Dan Campbell was doing. They're starting to come back to earth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Next is the Green Bay Packers. I hate to do it, but I'm going to drop them to a C. They look bad. 4 losses in a row for a Green Bay Packers team who we thought coming into this year would be a competitive football team. And everybody can blame the receivers. Everybody can blame the defense. Aaron Rodgers has something to do with this too. It's a team collective effort. Just like a lot of people blame Justin Fields so much, Aaron Rodgers deserves the same blame. He doesn't have a lot of receiver help, granted. They dropped the ball a lot, granted. The Bears do too. They just haven't put it together. And it's really seeming like the loss of Davante Adams hurts a lot more than what we even thought they would hurt. And defensively, this was supposed to be one of the better defenses in the league, and they look bad. So I'm going to lead the Green Bay Packers at a C. The Houston Texans, they're just not talented. Let's just be honest. They're just not a talented football team. Dameon Pierce, I like some of the things that he's been able to do with that offense, but they're just not a talented football team. I'm personal to Lovie Smith, but this team is just not very good. Next is the Indianapolis Colts. They're at a C. They just fired their offensive coordinator, Brady. They just changed quarterbacks from Matt Ryan to Sam Ehlinger, and they blew the game late against the Washington Commanders. So this Colts team, they also have some expectations for them to probably win the division. It's not going to happen. Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to put them at a C. I do like some of the things that they are doing. It's just once they start to learn how to win some of those close games, this will be a better team, like I said before. I can't put them in a D. They're not that bad, even though the record might say so. I am one that believes that people say the record is what you said you are. I don't believe in that too much. I personally don't believe in that. And the Jaguars, I personally believe in a little bit better than what their record said. Next is Kansas City Chiefs coming off a bye week. I'm going to put them at an S. They've been clicking on all cylinders. Offensively, it's looking like Tyreek Hill, not as missed as people would imagine, even though he did do a lot of things for them, but that offense is still clicking. Defensively, which I thought would be their weak spot, they've been playing some really good football. Frank Clark and Chris Jones up front have been playing some really good football. Next is the Los Angeles Chargers. They are also coming off of a bye week. I think this Chargers team, they should be better. They had a little bit of higher expectations, especially from my standpoint. I thought they were going to take over the Chiefs in that division. They've had a lot of injuries, of course. J.C. Jackson, Rashawn Slater, even Bosa. They've had some injuries, but I just thought that this Chargers team would be better than what they are, and they're just not. And Herbert has been dealing with some rib injuries as well. Next is the L.A. Rams. I'm going to drop them. I'm going to leave them in a C. I'm going to leave this Rams team in a C. Matthew Stafford, he hasn't been clicking. That defense has been very much underperforming. And for them to sit at the 3-4 record with the talent that this team has, they should be better. Next is the Las Vegas Raiders. You get shut out in this point in today's NFL. You belong in a D. You belong in a D getting shut out. A Saints team that is a solid defense, but you get shut out with the offensive pieces that you have, you belong in a D for that alone. Next is the Miami Dolphins. I'm having that at A. This offense is explosive. They can do a lot of things offensively. They have to get a little bit of the running game going, I believe. Defensively, they've been playing solidly, but it didn't look that great against the Lions last week. But Tua is emerging. And it's proof that his 5-0 record as a starter, I mean, what can you say? This team needs Tua. And it's been proven with the way that he's been playing, and it's been proven with the record with 3 losses without him, and their 5 wins came with him. That's all I'm going to say. Next is the Minnesota Vikings. I'm putting them at an S. This offense is clicking. Defensively, they have been looked a ton better than what I thought they would be this season. I know offensively they had all the pieces together. Offensive line has been opening some holes in the run game. Kirk Cousins has been protected. This offense is very, very, very good. And they have a defense that has been, I think, exceeding some expectations going into this season. Harrison Smith is still playing like their top guy. Patrick Peterson has looked solid. This defense has been playing some really good football with Eric Kendricks as well. Next is the New England Patriots. I'm going to put the Pats at a B for now. They're coming off of a good win against the New York Jets team that was rolling hot. They made Zach Wilson throw the ball to them. They looked solid for them to be coming off of an embarrassment type of a game against the Bears. They looked solid in a bounce back game. Next is the New Orleans Saints. Now, this might be a little crazy, but I'm probably going to put them. I'm going to put them at a B. I'm going to put them at a B right now because this football team, if they get some consistent quarterback play, and if they get a lot of their guys back healthy, then I think they will start to click. And personally, I do believe that the Saints football team can get it together. They just shut out the Raiders. I do believe they can get it together. Next, the Giants. They're coming off of a loss to the Seahawks, but I'm gonna put them at a B. I am been one that believed that this Giants team, they've won a lot of close games, and you're gonna have to win a lot of those close games, but they haven't been necessarily offensively impressive outside of Saquon. They just haven't been to me. Defensively, it's kept them in games as well. Outside of Saquon, your offense has only been so much. Defensively, he's been holding you in games, turning the football over and making some key plays. But I think this passing game list needs to get together a little bit more for me to have more faith in the Giants. Next is the New York Jets. I'm gonna put them at a B. Still a very young football team. Still a very, I think, ascending football team. Now, Breece Hall's impact it's missed. Defensively, Quentin Williams, C.J. Mosley, and Sauce Gardner has been playing some solid football. I do believe in this Jets defense led by Robert Saleh, their head coach, but offensively, Breece Hall is missed. He was on pace to be Rookie of the Year. And for him to be out of the lineup, they did just trade for James Robinson. I think once he gets acclimated, they start to get that running game back acclimated, I think they will be just fine as a football team. Next is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it pains me to do this. I love Mike Tomlin. It's just this guy, this team hasn't been playing very well. Offensively, they look bad. Najee Harris hasn't been so great. But as a football team, they just haven't looked good. Next is the Seattle Seahawks. They've been better than what I thought. Geno Smith has had some games and been playing better than what I expected this football team to play. And defensively, they've been better than I expected too. Geno has been pushing the ball down the field. This football team has looked a lot better. Even though Geno has some hits and misses, they've looked good. Next is the San Francisco 49ers coming off a big win. I'm going to put them at the B grade as well. Christian McCaffrey looks like an absolute steal for this football team. He added another element that a running back can come out of the backfield. He even threw a touchdown, for Christ's sake. Ran a touchdown, caught a touchdown. The impact of Christian McCaffrey in this offense is being even utilized greatly by Kyle Shanahan. And defensively, they've had some mishaps. They've had some guys hurt, but they've been playing better, I think, week by week. You can kind of throw out that Chiefs game because it all looked bad. So with this 49ers team, I'm going to put them at a B. Next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to put them at a C. That offense has just not been very good. They cannot get the run game going, which sets up the play action, which they do, which that hasn't been set up. Defensively, they've taken a downfall. Earlier in the season, defensively, they were looking solid, but it just doesn't look the same. They've had, of course, a ton of injuries in their secondary. Shaquille Barry just went down with a torn Achilles. This team, I think, is on a fall, honestly. They have the roster to do it, even though they're in a bad division. They're on a fall with a lot of injuries and inconsistent play. Next is the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to move them to a B. They're starting to get a little hot. Derrick Henry is starting to get going. Even though Malik Willis was the quarterback last week, they're starting to do some things. They are missing wide receivers. Defensively, they looked better week by week. And with this Titans football team, once Derrick Henry gets going, that steps up so much of their offense. They get the running game going, you can do a lot of things with this offense. And Vrabel has this defense performing well, and they're starting to get better week by week. And the last team is the Washington Commanders, coming off of a big win against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to put them in the B, a 4-4 football team. I think, like I said, Tyler Heineke is, I think, the better quarterback for this football team at this point than Carson Wentz has ever been. And defensively, they are starting to get it together. They are starting to play better as the year goes on in that defensive side of the ball. Now, it's interesting to see if Chase Young is going to come back, or if he's going to come back. But the defense with Montez Sweat leading the charge has been playing some really solid football. And offensively, Taylor Heineke is the guy over Carson Wentz. And I will keep Heineke in the lineup. That's just me. But hey, these are my rankings for this week. Leave you guys' comments down below. I would love to see what you guys think. Leave this video a like. It helps this channel to grow, beats the algorithm, all that stuff. And if you are not subbed, you got to this point, click the subscribe button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the videos. But I'm APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next Sunday, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.